Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear student, today inshallah we're going to talk about the epithelial tissue. You know that the cell is the structural and the functional unit. Cells connected together forming tissues. In our body we have four tissues, which are the epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and connective tissue. And we said, according to the matrix, if the connective tissue is soft, we are talking about connective tissue proper. If it is hard, we're talking about bone. If it is firm, we're talking about cartilage. If it's blood, we're talking about, if it's fluid, we're talking about blood. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about the epithelial tissue. This diagram shows you that the epithelial tissue is different in each part of the body as it fulfill a certain function. Some of them are simple, some of them stratified, many layers, some of them flat, cubical, columnar, depending upon the function of the epithelium in that tissue. General characters of the epithelium. The epithelium is crowded, so it has little intercellular space. It lies on a basement membrane. It is connected together by tight junction. Not penetrated by blood vessel, it is avascular, but it innervated. It receives its blood by diffusion from the underlying connective tissue. The cell can regenerate. I'm going to give you an example. If a patient suffers from diarrhea, after 3 to 4 days the diarrhea stops. Why? Because the cells that reabsorb the water regenerate again and do its function. The epithelium, either surface epithelium that cover a surface or line a surface, or glandular epithelium form glands, or neuroepithelium act as a receptor, or myoepithelium that contract. This is acini of a gland, and this is the myoepithelial cell. As you can see here, it is branched and it contains actin and myosin. When it's squeezed, it releases the content into the lumen. The surface epithelium divided according to the number of cells into a simple epithelium, which is formed only of one layer, stratified epithelium formed of more than one layer. This is a diagrammatic picture. You can see it is one layer, so it is simple epithelium, lies on a basement membrane. The cell is flat with flat nuclei. The simple squamous epithelium is formed of one layer of flat cell with flat nuclei. It's present in area in which I want a smooth surface and a delicate surface for gas exchange. Smooth surface, so it's lining the blood vessel and the heart, called endothelium. Delicate for gas exchange, as that in the alveoli of the lung. Again, thin membrane, either for diffusion of gas as present in the alveoli of the lung, filtration of the blood as present in the Bowman's capsule. I want blood to be filtrated rapidly. Okay, provide smooth surface for lining of the blood vessel and easy movement of organs as that present around the heart pericardium, around the lung pleura, and around the intestine peritoneum. So the simple squamous epithelium, either smooth or delicate or thin membrane. This is light microscopic picture show a blood vessel lined with one layer of flat cell with flat nuclei, so it is simple squamous epithelium. Here is lung alveoli lined by simple squamous epithelium for gas exchange. This is one layer of cubical cell, the length equal to the width with central rounded nuclei. Remember, dear student, the secretion and reabsorption. Remember, the function of this epithelium is secretion and reabsorption. So it is present in the thyroid follicle secretory or acini of salivary gland, reabsorption present in the kidney convoluted tubule. So simple cubical epithelium, remember two words, secretion and reabsorption. Simple columnar epithelium formed of one layer of columnar cell, tall cell with basal oval nuclei. Remember two words, secretion and absorption. It is present in the intestine and in the stomach. Dear student, in the intestine for the absorption, it contains apical microvilli to increase its surface area. Simple columnar ciliated epithelium, the free surface contains cilia. Remember two words about the cilia. The cilia is present on the surface facing that will move the particle upon it, and it should move in one direction. So it is present in lung bronchioles to sweep out mucus trap particles, and in the female genital system present in the uterus and in the fallopian tube in order to move the ova in one direction towards the uterus. Simple columnar ciliated epithelium. This is another type of a simple epithelium, but it appears as if it is stratified, so it's called pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Why we said it is pseudostratified? Because the cells are crowded and the nuclei appear to be present at different levels. But it is simple. Why? Because all cells lie on the same basement membrane, not all of them reach the surface. So it is one layer of columnar cell, all of the cells attached to the same basement membrane. They are crowded so you can see the nuclei at different level, and this gives you the pseudo stratification, that as if it is formed of more than one layer. Besides secretion and absorption present in the male genital system in the vas deferens and part of a male urethra. Here is pseudostratified columnar, but you can see that the columnar cells are ciliated and there is goblet cell. Pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium present in the upper respiratory passages to sweep out mucus trap particles starting from the nasal cavity to the bronchus. Smokers, metaplasia occurs. What the meaning of metaplasia? Change of the epithelium from pseudostratified columnar epithelium to stratified epithelium. Here the function, which is sweep out mucus trap particle, will be not done. The stratified squamous epithelium will not do the same function of the respiratory epithelium, and the patient will suffer from secretion that cannot be get out from the respiratory passage. And metaplasia is precancerous. Now we're going to talk about the stratified epithelium. What do I mean by stratified epithelium? It is formed of more than one layer. The basal cells are columnar, resting on the basement membrane. The intermediate are polyhedral, many sides with central rounded nuclei. The superficial cells vary according to the shape. If they are simple, it's called stratified squamous. If it is squamous, it's called stratified squamous epithelium. If it is cubical, stratified cubical. If it is columnar, stratified columnar. First, we're going to talk about the stratified squamous. It is formed of 5 to 30 layers. The basal cells are columnar with basal oval nuclei resting on clear wavy basement membrane. Why there is clear wavy basement membrane? In order to increase the surface area for nutrition, as I said before, that the epithelium is avascular. Another thing, it fixes the epithelium, epidermis to the dermis, or the epithelium to the underlying connective tissue. The intermediate are polyhedral cell and connected together by tight junction. It has central rounded nuclei. The superficial cells are flat cell with flat nuclei. This stratified squamous epithelium is again classified into two other subtypes, keratinized and non-keratinized. The keratinized present on the skin, the non-keratinized present in the oral cavity, anal canal, and vagina. It has a protective function. Here a diagram showing keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Here showing non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified columnar epithelium, the most superficial cell is columnar cell. It either non-ciliated, that present in large ducts and of the glands, recto-anal junction. Ciliated, this is present in the esophagus of the fetus, and that will change into other type of epithelium, which is stratified squamous epithelium. Here is stratified columnar, and here is stratified columnar ciliated. The basal cell are columnar, the intermediate polyhedral, and the most superficial is columnar, either not ciliated or ciliated. The last thing we're going to talk about is the transitional epithelium. What do I mean by transitional? I'm changing. I'm not the same all the time. Depending upon what? Depending whether the lining epithelium, the organ that this epithelium lining it, whether distended or non-distended. It's about 4 to 8 layers lie on non-clear basement membrane. The basal cells are short columnar with rounded nuclei. The intermediate are polyhedral with rounded nuclei, and the most superficial cells are large cuboidal cell. Why we said that this is a transitional, as it depends on the state of the organ, whether it is distended or relaxed. Lining the urinary bladder, the ureter. Here is a diagram. This is an relaxed bladder or empty bladder, and here is the bladder in a stretched state. When dear student, this is the urinary bladder. This is the ureter, and this is the bladder. Here is the lumen that when it's full of urine, you have a desire to micturate. Okay. If the condition is not suitable to micturate, the bladder will distend. Okay. On expense of what? On expense of the lining epithelium. Here is the bladder that will distend. Okay. Here I'm going to accommodate more urine. How? The epithelium will be stretched, will glide one over the other in order to decrease the thickness, of the cells, so I can accommodate more urine. So again, the surface epithelium. We have simple epithelium, simple squamous, please remember smooth and delicate. Simple cubicle, remember secretion and reabsorption. Simple columnar, remember secretion and absorption. Simple columnar ciliated, remember I'm going to move something. Pseudostratified columnar, either ciliated or non. Ciliated with goblet cell in respiratory passage, non-ciliated present in male urethra. Stratified epithelium, stratified squamous, either keratinized or non-keratinized. Stratified columnar, either ciliated or non-ciliated, and the transitional epithelium. Data show slides for the epithelial tissue. Here is one layer of cell aligned with flat cell and flat nuclei, so it is simple squamous epithelium. One layer of columnar cell, one layer of cubical cell, with the length equal to the width with central rounded nuclei, simple cubical epithelium. One layer of columnar cell, tall cell, with basal oval nuclei. Here is pseudostratified columnar ciliated with goblet cell. Keratinized, stratified squamous epithelium, more than one layer, and the most superficial flat, and there is a layer of keratin. Non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, many layer of cells, the first columnar, then rounded, then the most superficial are flat cell with flat nuclei, not covered with keratin, so it is non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Transitional epithelium, many layers of cells with rounded nuclei. The most superficial are large dome-shaped cells.